enforcement and his contributions to marginalized segments of the community, CCLA is proud to present Mr. Kai Lu with the 2024 Chinese Canadian Legend Award.
Now we would like to invite Police Chief Tai Truong, London Police Services, to present the award to Mr. Liu, and they will share a few words with us afterwards. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. The Right Honorable Adrian Clarkson, the Honorable Elizabeth Dowswell, His Honor Albert Wong, distinguished guests, and all elected officials here tonight. I'm joined here with my fellow brothers in law enforcement. There's two Asian brothers of mine here, Deputy Chief Mark DePat from Peel Regional Police, and Inspector Will Lee from the Ontario Provincial Police. So I will say, thank God they got rid of the 6 foot minimum height requirement to be a police officer. This is a tremendous honor for me to stand here to introduce a man whose contributions to law enforcement and communities that have been nothing short of extraordinary. From being the first Asian police officer with the Ottawa Police Service and becoming one of the youngest police chiefs here in Canada, Chief Kai Lu has continually paved the way for others, not just in law enforcement, but in every community he has touched. His life is one of resilience, courage, and the relentless pursuit of equality. Chief Kai Lu has been a strong advocate for the vulnerable. He has shown us that policing is not just about enforcing the law, but about protecting the most vulnerable among us with compassion and professionalism. Even in retirement, his work continues to uplift and empower communities that have historically been underserved. Chief Kai Lu is not just a leader, he is a trailblazer, a champion for human rights, and an inspiration to all of us. It is my absolute privilege to present him with this well-deserved recognition tonight. Please join me in welcoming Chief Kai Lu to the podium.
It's interesting, 37 years of policing, chasing bad guys at gunpoint through dark alleys. And if you can see, if you're standing up close, you will see my hands shaking. 大家好，我是要谢谢你们今天晚上，我是新刘，我是叫刘永凯。Good evening, distinguished guests, friends, and family. I just want to echo Chief Trump's words that tonight is very much like the passing of the baton to a younger generation of Asian police leaders within our country. Tonight, we not only have the Chief of Police for the City of London, we also have William Lee, Ontario Provincial Police Inspector, and as well as Mark Dipat with the Peel Regional Police Service. And as much as I was the first Asian officer with the Ottawa Police, it is these young police leaders that will continue to carry the torch and make our country and our province more inclusive, and especially making our police service reflective of the communities they serve. I am very humbled to stand before you as the recipient of the 2024 Chinese Legend Award. I stand before you recognizing the collective contribution of all Asian Canadians. I would also like to congratulate the many deserving nominees that were considered for this award. Our collective contribution to Canada each day is making our children's country more inclusive. Congratulations to all the award recipients. And I heard, as it was being explained earlier, the selection process of the committee and how strenuous and how transparent it was, with names being blocked out. And I whispered to my wife of 39 years, I think their process made an error tonight. I am humbled to share the stage with the other award recipients. As noted in my introduction, I was born in Taiwan. I would like to say that I was made in Taiwan. And like many things that are made in Taiwan, I was rebuilt in Canada. At the age of 6, I had my heart rebuilt at the Toronto Hospital for Sick Children. Without surgery, I would have died before the age of 12. And so I learned at a very early age and recognized that I was a living miracle of modern medicine. And you heard the biographies of the number of health sciences, doctors that were here tonight. They are saving lives each and every day, and I am a witness to that. When my family immigrated to Canada in October of 1970, we were welcomed by the City of Toronto. We settled in the neighborhood of Regent Park. And at that time, as a kid growing up, if the Toronto Police Service had pulled in a police car, we would throw snowballs and run. And as a kid, I didn't know why I would run, other than the older kids would run. And you didn't want to be the slowest. But it wasn't until one day that I came home from school, and a school friend of mine in elementary school had returned home late. And as a result, the police descended into our community of Regent Park and began searching for this missing boy. And I had an opportunity to ride in a police car with this Toronto police officer. I could see the stress, the concern in this officer's face. And we learned that a short time later that my friend had simply gone to another friend's house for dinner and hadn't advised his parents. But that interaction planted the seed in me that I knew from that point forward I wanted to be just like that officer, to serve the community. You heard about the minimum height requirements being removed. It was an interesting process when I reached out to the Ottawa Police Service in 1985. They asked over the telephone what my name was. And so at the time I provided my full name, Young Kai Lu. There was a pause by the recruiting officer on the other end of the phone. And then he asked, are you a visible minority? And growing up in Montreal, we were called ethnics. And so that was a new terminology, visible minority. And I asked, are you looking for those minorities? And they said yes. I figured if I was one, I would have a better chance. And so I responded, yes, I am. I'm of this minority. And he says, are you Asian from your name? And I said, yes. Again, a pause. And the Staff Sergeant Richard Brzezowski on the other end said, of the telephone, said, well, you don't sound Chinese. Oh, I'm very sorry. And this is how I became the first Asian police officer. I want to take this opportunity to credit the many accomplishments and the career successes that I've had to mentors and supporters and allies that have played an integral part of my life. Some are here tonight. Cobourg Police Chaplain Andrew Truder and his wife Karen, Justice Albert Wong, our legal counsel Julian Faulkner, who was flying his private plane and stuck in the air because of the weather, and so was not able to land here in Toronto. I have a number of my team that are here tonight as well, Gabby Santana and Ashley Taylor, Russell Taylor. These two individuals keep me grounded each and every day. In fact, they're the ones that operate the Indigenous Police Chiefs of Ontario Association. And then for those that had an opportunity to read the bio, you would have heard in the presentation how in kindergarten and grade 1, I would be bullied, I would be shoved into the ground, have sand kicked on my face because I simply could not communicate in English. And my hero, my older sister Lily, is here tonight with my brother-in-law, Andrew. I've been very fortunate in my policing careers and have had the opportunity to break barriers and fight for advocacy of those that are disadvantaged. I've been the public face of policing on posters, front pages of newspapers and magazines. I've worked undercover with the RCMP with a long hair and a ponytail, working shift work, responding to many tragic 911 calls that Christmases, birthdays of our 3 children and special occasions missed. But they were made much easier knowing that my wife of 39 years, Heidi, who is the rock of our family, was at home looking after the home front. And I'm just going to get Heidi, she's already standing, so I'm going to get her to put her hands up. Before I close by thanking the Chinese-Canadian Legend Association, I want to share one other story. How people can touch your lives without ever knowing that you have influenced their life. Her Excellency, Adrienne Clarkson, is here tonight. Our path, in fact, crossed 20 years ago this week. It was the summer of 2020. The summer of 2024. I had been selected to travel with the Governor General across Canada on a Governor General Leadership Conference. As a result of that conference, I have a picture of myself and Her Excellency when we met with the Premier of Quebec. And so I have a picture in my office desk. And in my early days as a police chief, I had the Chief of Leeds and the Mayor of Leeds and the Thousand Islands come into my office. And he saw the picture. Frank Kinsella looked at me and said, "Who is that?" And I said, "Oh, that's my mom." We continued our meeting without ever referencing that picture. 6 months later, I get a call from Member of Parliament, Steve Clark, and says, the Leeds and the Thousand Islands are twinning, Leeds and the Thousand Islands, Ontario, are twinning with Leeds and the Thousand Islands, China. And there's a delegation of mayors from the Thousand Islands, China, that will be coming to Ontario and the mayor would like to invite you and your mother to the reception. There was a bit of confusion and pause, and I asked the Member of Parliament, why would you want my mother to attend a dinner of Chinese delegates? And the response was, well, isn't your mother the Governor General? And so, Your Excellency, as a result of having our paths crossed 20 years ago, I ended up on a delegation, my wife and I, as translators for 8 mayors from the St. Lawrence region. And it's something that I carry very close to my heart, in that when people ask, who is that picture? It's my mom. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kelly and the Chief Tai Chuan. So that is the 2 things I actually learned tonight. And the number 1 is always telling the truth. And because I do also have a picture with Her Excellency of Madame Agent Clarkson, and I would not dare to say that, at least from this lesson. And number 2, I just want to say is this gala is the most safest gala I have went to. I have never seen so many chiefs here at the same time. And thank you so much for this very inspirational speech. Next time when the policemen stop me for car speeding, and I won't be afraid, because I would say, I know you actually can tell from your jokes. Don't give me the tickets, give me a joke. Now let us watch our last award recipient, Dr. Peter Liu.
In 1966, Peter's parents